Bonjour mon petit chauffeur, Amber here, and I'm super excited to have another little book chat. It is the end of November / beginning of December, which means it is time for new books of the month. And it's the end of November, which means this is the one where I chat a bunch about the Hunger Games. But before that, I'd like to talk about a sort of honorable mentions because I started reading it at the end of October, or I read it, not the end, throughout October and the beginning of November, and that is The Girl from the Well by Ren Chupeco. And this book is described as The Grudge meets The Ring meets The Exorcist. It's basically about, what's her name? I can't remember her name. Okiku, who is, I think, the spirit that those characters are based off of. She was murdered, and her spirit avenges children's deaths, and she murders child murderers and molesters and whatnot. And she is currently haunting a boy named Tark, short for Tarquin? I think it was Tarquin. I wanted to pronounce it like Tarquin, like Joaquin, but it was Tarquin. So I don't know, it always reminded me of Darkwing Duck. I don't know what's wrong with me. But yeah, I started this book because I got it during Halloween time and I wanted to read a spooky book and be like, oh, it's gonna keep me up all night. And for that aspect, I was a little disappointed with the book because I didn't feel it was actually like, it's supposed to be a horror book, but it wasn't scary to me. It was, I like the book. I think the story itself is cute and sweet, but there is not much horror at all aside from the fact that Okiku is a ghost. But I do like the Japanese folklore, I guess is the proper word, and like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but then they go to Japan. Oh, I didn't mention this part. There is another darker spirit that is possessing Tark, and they have to go to Japan to try to exorcise said demon. And it's a lot, but it's not really horror, and that part happens literally at the end. And then there's a sequel. I'm not sure if I'm gonna read it yet. Aside from all that I just said, I did like the book, so I might read the sequel because what I read, like the excerpt in the back, seems a lot spookier than this, so maybe the story gets progressively darker, whereas Tark becomes sort of like a demon hunter, almost a ghost hunter. So yeah, that was this book. It wasn't a horrible book, so obviously I'm talking about it, but it wasn't what I expected. So next, the most important moment of this whole video. This month I reread the Hunger Games series because I generally reread the books every time a new movie comes out, and Mockingjay Part 2 just came out, and I just wanted to go out with a bang at the end of one of my favorite series. And I couldn't find my books, so I had to get them from the library. That's why I only have the two right now, Catching Fire and Mockingjay, because I took the Hunger Games back. But by Suzanne Collins, if you didn't know, for some reason. But also, I've never talked about the Hunger Games like in a books of the month or book review type video, and these are actually some of my favorite books ever. I've read them a total now of 6 times. I cry every time. The stories are so amazing. Oh, if you don't know, if you've been living under a rock for the past 4 years and haven't seen the movies or read the books yourself, because they are a huge phenomenon, the books take place in what used to be North America and is now the country of Panem, and it's 13 districts surrounded by surrounding the capital. And every year each district is forced to send 2 tributes, which is a boy and a girl ages I think 12 to 18, to fight to the death in the Hunger Games, and the winner is the victor and is treated to a life of riches and whatever, blah blah blah. Katniss, the main character's younger sister Prim, is chosen the reaping. She volunteers tribute. She volunteers as tribute, and is thus in the Hunger Games with Peeta, who has been in love with her since forever, and is adorable, and I love him. So those are the stories, and just follows her winning the Hunger Games and becoming the Mockingjay, the face of the rebellion to take down the Capitol. So there's your synopsis of the Hunger Games in like 2 minutes. And I love these books so much. I don't know how many times I can say that. I feel like they just resonate with me because it's a glimpse at what our future honestly could be. We're not that far from this. And the way they're told, and you just connect with the characters, and the fact that Katniss is doing everything that she's done to protect her sister, and like just Peeta and the people that she loves. And when I read the books, when I first started reading the books, it was right after my Twilight phase. So it was nice to go into a book series with such a strong female lead, and someone who, yes, is also, her life is in danger for the entire series, but there's a reason behind that. She's fighting to protect everyone she loves, and then at the end of it, she's fighting to free her country and her people, and to take down this evil sociopath, psychopath. So there's a reason behind her fight and her struggle, and Katniss goes through so much, but I guess like that fuels her. So I think that's something that a lot of people, not just girls, need to see, and that's a good character to be in a book, a role model, for like a bookish role model. And like I said, the stories are Panem is easily America, and not that far, not even America, the world, and not that long. It's like they're a cautionary tale, which I think all dystopian books are meant to be. And I just think it's that mirror of reality that, oh, people are making out on my TV, that resonates with people. And I think out of the 3 books, my favorite is probably Catching Fire, I think. And just the way the districts are starting to come together, and fire is catching, and it's also not as emotionally scarring as Mockingjay is for me. Also, the movie was incredible, by the way. All of them. I was talking about Mockingjay just now, part 2, but I don't think there's anything else I have to say about those, but it's just bittersweet that the movies are over. I know that has nothing to do with books of the month, but but I do want to say, I guess as a book thing and talking about the author, that Suzanne Collins is the bee's knees, and I guess thank you for writing these books that are just such an important part of my life. Moving on, so those were 3 of the 5 books I read this month. The last one I literally just finished reading like not even an hour ago, and this was a book I just came across at the library. Never heard of it, never heard of this author, but it caught my eye and seemed interesting. It's called Strangelets by Michelle, I'm gonna say Gagnon. I don't want to say Gagnon. 1, that sounds wrong. 2, that sounds wrong. I'm going with Gagnon. And basically, this book, it revolves around 6 kids in the little summary. It only talks about 3. I guess those are the 3 main characters. It's told through their 3 points of view, but it's also third person point of view, which kind of gets confusing sometimes. But it's told through the point of view of Sophie, who is American from California, Declan, I love that name, from Ireland, and Anat, she's Israeli, and they are kids who don't know each other, and they wake up in a hospital that's completely deserted. They wake up and they find there are 3 other kids in this abandoned hospital. Nico, who's Swiss, in case you were wondering, Zane, who's Indian, and Yosh, who is Japanese. And I don't know, I just felt the need to tell you that because they're all from different places. And basically they find out where they feel like they're alone in this place. They're not, and there are these crocodile type dinosaur monsters, and I'm not going to tell you too much. Basically it's I didn't know what I was going into reading this, but it's like a sci-fi novel. There's time travel, there are aliens, there are alternate universes, there is a lot. And I guess the one thing that ties all the kids together is that they were on the brink of death. And yeah, I was surprised. I'd never heard of this. I didn't know what to think of it, but I think it was pretty good. At some point I was really confused. I didn't know what was happening, and there was like plot twist after plot twist, and I was like, whoa, what? Some I was like, I saw that coming, but then I'm like, wait, what? And the way it ended, I was like, I called that, but still, I ship it. I didn't like Sophie until the very end, in case you were wondering if you've read the book or plan on reading the book. She's kind of annoying. Yeah, it was really interesting actually. And it was different than things I read, and I would suggest reading it. That's all I can say without giving too much away. Also, if I try to explain the story, it's very, very confusing. So yeah, those are the books I've read this month. I keep wanting to say, because I have been writing a novel this month, in case you didn't know, that I keep wanting to say that's hindered my reading, but actually I think in November I've done more reading than I've done in a very long time. So maybe being in a literary mindset has helped me read as well as write. So hopefully that keeps going in all through December, because I have quite a bit to read. And that brings me to my to be read, my TBR. So next up, to be read. First, I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai with Christina Lamb. It's the story of Malala, the Pakistani girl who was shot in the head for trying to fight for girls' education in her home. So I'm really interested in this. I love her. She's such an inspiration, such a great role model. So I can't wait to read this. I really want to see her documentary as well. I think you've seen all of these in hauls, but the next is The Wrath in the Dawn by Renee Ahdieh. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce her name. And this is a take on 1001 Night, where basically Shahrazad volunteers to marry the king to avenge the death of her best friend, where every night he takes a new queen and by morning she's dead. So that seems really interesting, and the cover is really pretty. Next, which I might push to the top of my list because I want to have it done by January, is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey, and the movie is coming out in January, starring Chloe Grace Moretz. And what I've gathered is that the world has been attacked by like aliens or something, and they've come in waves, hence the fifth wave, and they are able to take the shape of humans, so you don't know who to trust. And I think I'm just paraphrasing the trailer for the movie. So I think she has to go find her brother or something. They've taken her brother and she has to go find him. That seems really interesting. And I like to read it just in case the movie is nothing like the book, which seems to be the case these days. And last is one when I talked about it in the haul, I said it also I'm really excited about because I love this author. It's Reawakened by Colleen Houck, author of the Tiger's Curse series, which I love and is actually on my shelves to read after these new books. This is kind of the seems like a similar storyline to Tiger's Curse, but set in Egypt, in ancient Egypt, where, who is the main character's name? Liliana. She goes to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, and it also kind of reminds me of Night at the Museum, and meets the Egyptian pharaoh, I think, prince, and goes on this journey to like go raise his brothers from the dead and stop this evil god So I'm pretty stoked about this one. I've always loved Egypt since I was a kid. I've always been fascinated with ancient Egypt and like the Egyptian gods and whatnot. So I'm really stoked to this. And I also loved the Tiger's Curse series. So I'm really excited. So yeah, those are my books of the month and books for next month. I hope you liked it. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Also, let me know what you've read throughout November and anything you think I would enjoy reading in the future. Let me know what your favorite books of the moment are. If you like me, feel free to subscribe. All my places are down there. I'll see you soon. Bye. I personally liked where she went a tad more than If I Stay. One, it wasn't as sad.